Alright guys, so as some of you may have been aware or may have heard, there's been a bit of an issue with Elite Odyssey's launch. And this is not going to be a Star Citizen back taking shots at Elite. Even though I did call it before Odyssey was launched. I warned you guys that this would be something that would be extremely painful and not going to be as easy as people think. But regardless, this is not going to be gloating about, you know, me being right, you being wrong, or anything like that. To be honest, Elite having problems with their launch is actually worse for us Star Citizen backers. And this is me actually defending Elite to a certain point. Well, the idea of Elite anyway. But we'll break into it. Right. So some of you know I do play both. I do play Star Citizen and I do play Elite. I do favour Star Citizen over Elite. I do have Elite. I have Horizons. I love it, but I prefer Star Citizen. Mainly because Space Leagues. And when I heard about Odyssey coming out with Space Leagues, we were generally excited. If you're in our Discord, you would have seen it, that people were going on about, hey, Odyssey's coming out, we're going to check it out. You know, we're going to get Space Leagues and Elite, you want to go and check it out. There was Ferrets, there was Ghost, there was me, there was Ronan, all of us were talking about it. Right now, these are big Star Citizen players. You know, like Ferrets has a lot of money into Star Citizen. I myself have over $1,000 put into the game. You know, at the end of the day, we are big backers of Star Citizen. And when we heard about Elite, we're like, yeah, hey, we'll drop the $60. We'll go and check out Odyssey. And we'll see what it's like. We might play it. We might stream both games, whatever it may be. And then we heard about all the issues that are coming up. And there has been some improvement with the 5th patch that has come out for Elite Dangerous. But there's still a lot of people in the community that are really, really upset. And I want to make about 3 or 4 videos on this. The first one I want to talk about is why it's a bad thing for us to have Elite have this bad launch. And it may seem like it's a no-brainer question, but I want to explain it. So for all the Elite players out there that are like rolling your eyes and going, oh my god, this is a Star Citizen, gloating in the fact that Elite's having problems at the moment. No, it's not. I don't gloat about that. For a start, I wish Elite all the best of luck. I do own the game. I do play the game. I do prefer Star Citizen, but I do play Elite. Elite having a painful launch right now is actually bad for Star Citizen. And all those Star Citizen fanboys out there that are getting on that tribal bandwagon and are laughing about the fact that Elite is having this problematic launch, you're not helping the situation. Because what you might actually be doing is hurting your own game in the process. And I'll explain it. Imagine there were 2 games. We'll call one Elite Dangerous and we'll call the other Star Citizen. And then at the end of the day, say Elite fell. It was this huge titan that was giving Star Citizen run for its money. And then the stock price drops. And then all of a sudden, the game director, we'll call him Brandon, for example. Brandon, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Say he had to fire people. And then at the end of the day, say that Elite team, maybe 150 people, has now dropped down to 75. So they're not put out as much content as they usually do. And for example, they then just fell behind when it came to Star Citizen. Now, we're not saying that's happening at the moment. Some of that is happening, but not all of it, right? He hasn't had to lay people off or anything like that. So Star Citizen fanboys, don't get your hopes up. But at the end of the day, what does that do to Star Citizen? Well, then the person running Star Citizen, we'll call him Chris Roberts, might start resting on his morals or his laurels. He might sit there and think, well, there's no longer anyone to challenge me. And, you know, you might sit there and say, well, what about No Man's Sky? And there's a point. There is still that contender, obviously, in the space race. But at the end of the day, let's face it, most of the fierce competition comes between Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen. Now, my problem is, or my worry is that someone like Chris, and I don't think he's actually going to do this, but it can happen, would sit there and say, hey, Elite is having all these problematic launches right now. their share price is tanking, their player base is leaving Elite Dangerous and coming over to my game, I might take an extra 6 or 12 months to put out Squadron 42. I might, instead of putting out 4 patches a year, we might scale it back to 2 patches a year. We'll just tell people that we need more time to work on these patches. We can start cruising. We can start, you want to use an elite term, we can put it in Super Cruise a little bit. We can coast along. And we've seen this with Xbox and PlayStation and stuff like that, right? At the end of the day, when Xbox is in the lead, Xbox hits the cruise button. And when PlayStation, at the moment like they are, is in the lead, they hit the cruise button. To the point where now Xbox has 2 consoles that are more powerful than the PlayStation. And it's human nature that you're so far ahead of someone, you don't see them in the rear vision mirror, so what do? You hit the cruise button. You hit Super Cruise. Now, if we have 2, imagine this, if we have 2 big contenders, or even 3, say No Man's Sky, Elite Dangerous, and Star Citizen, and they're all jostling for a play base, and they're all competing against each other, and the competition is wild, well then Star Citizen has to bring their A game. They have to make sure the patches are on time. They have to make sure that the patches are working. They have to make sure that everything is working fine. Because if they don't, the player base might jump over to Elite, or it might jump over to No Man's Sky. And this is the same with Elite and No Man's Sky. If they have a bad patch launch, like Elite is having right now, then the player base will jump to Star Citizen or No Man's Sky or both those games. And imagine if Star Citizen and No Man's Sky were the only 2. Say Elite gets knocked out. It's not going to happen, but just say Elite gets knocked out of the race. And we just have No Man's Sky and Star Citizen competing against each other. Then at the end of the day, okay, what if No Man's Sky then has a bad patch? Or Star Citizen has a bad patch? Having those 3 companies compete against each other is a good thing, because at the end of the day, it means that the companies have to bring their A game. They have to make sure things work. They have to make sure patches are work. They have to make sure that they're putting content that's in the game that is fun and that we're going to want to play. Because why? Because they have to compete against these other companies. I used to play, a little story about me, I used to play basketball. I used to play for my local team. For the place that I live in, right? Not getting into details because doxing. But yeah, I used to play professional basketball for nothing big, but just, club sport sort of thing, right? And at the end of the day, when we were on top, which we were several times, we were on top of our game, we would cruise. We would put things in cruise. And we would say, we don't have to worry, guys. We didn't have to train as hard because, hey, guess what? We've got this. We've got it in the bag. And the one year where we failed to make the grand final was because we were so confident we had it in the bag that we just put it in cruise. Instead of hitting those extra training sessions, we went through and we just coasted. And we got knocked out by this team, but the team that was on the bottom of the ladder. There was like, no way these are going to be. We are second on the ladder, coming in almost first. There's no way a bottom of the team is going to beat us. Guess what? They frigging beat us. Still to this day, I do not know how it happened, but they did. We got knocked out by a bottom run team because we were too busy putting it on cruise mode. And that's my problem with these bad launches, for example, with Elite. At the end of the day, if people sit there and if there's no competition, they're just going to put it in cruise mode. And then we're not going to get these amazing patches with Star Citizen that we're going to get. We're not going to get these amazing patches with item cache or server meshing or anything like that because Chris might just sit it and put it in cruise mode. Now, look, obviously it's crowdfunded. Is there a chance this would happen? Look, if Chris was to do this, the funding would dry up. I don't think it was going to happen. But that competition is still good, because at the end of the day, it also gives Chris and it gives the team that extra bit of pressure to sit there and make sure these patches are A-okay. These patches are not just A+, that they're A++. Because I can guarantee you now, Brennan's team, the guy from Elite Dangerous, FDev, I can tell you now, they are working on these patches. They want these patches to work. And this Elite community, it might have turned its back on Elite Dangerous right now, but they will go back to Elite in 3 or 4 months if it ever gets its stuff sorted out. And at the end of the day, it could be a case of Chris or CIG putting it on Super Cruise mode and going through and taking it easy, and then 3 months down the track, wham! Elite comes out with this brand new patch. Guys, we're going to put ship interiors, for example. Or we're going to put whatever it may be. They're not going to do ship interiors, and that's another video for another day. But at the end of the day, I think FDev is wrong on ship interiors, but I'll get to that to another time. At the end of the day, if they come out with a patch in 3 months that blows the socks off the Elite community, and Chris is too busy putting it in Super Cruise, the player base will leave. The player base will go to Elite Dangerous. And that's why competition is good. You want competition. Because at the end of the day, as long as you have competition, you'll have the A top. You'll have the AA top. Because let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. To all my Elite brothers who have jumped over to Star Citizen, welcome to the dark side where you do have cookies. And guys, I will be seeing you playing both Star Citizen and Elite when it gets its shit sorted out. Apart from that, guys, let us know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack that like button. Apart from that, guys, I will see you in the next video.